You know a lot about golf.
We're waiting.
And hello again. We are here, those weekend golf guys. I am John Ashton in studio. He is Jeff Smith at the Golf Cave. And where are you well ensconced today? It's the new school, isn't it?
I am at the same plain and simple golf school, Edinburgh, Indiana.
Okay.
At the Golf Cave.
Cool.
I am here in studio. As a matter of fact, in golf studio. You are in radio studio.
Mm-hmm.
I am in golf studio.
See, I've got a radio studio with some golf clubs in the corner. He's got a golf studio with a microphone in the corner. It's the way it works.
I like my studio better.
I do too.
You know, and I got windows that I'm looking out right now. You know what I'm watching?
Golfers. Yes.
Yeah, I'm watching golfers.
Golfers.
Yeah, they're outside. They're playing golf.
That's right.
On the 18th green at Timbergate Golf Course right this second. I
know.
watched a guy miss a 2-foot putt.
That's probably because he knew you were watching.
That had to be it. Dude missed a 2-foot putt.
Oops, the pro's watching. Oh, crap.
He can't see it.
He just felt you. He felt the gaze.
Yeah,
he felt
that's right.
Man, I was 80 miles away from you playing the other day, and I felt your gaze. Okay? If I miss this putt, Jeff will never forgive me. Which leads me to another point. I did have a very, very good round of golf a few days ago that I want to talk to you about because you, sir, are primarily responsible for it. Okay?
That means that I take credit for the good rounds of golf.
Yes, you do. And you just tisk, tisk, tisk the bad ones.
Yeah.
Shake your head.
I shake my head. I roll my eyes. I throw my hands in the air.
That's it.
I kick the dirt like I'm kicking dirt over the home plate.
It's just like my children.
box.
They never listen to me. Yeah, I got it. No, it was a great round, and I'm going to go over it and not just go over to brag about a great round, but go over as to what your lessons have done to help me. I mean, yeah, it still didn't break 80, so it wasn't that great a round, okay? But it was an 82, which is close.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good,
Yeah.
really. I mean, 10 over par. Come on.
Yeah, 241s.
That's pretty good, right? You're making progress.
I am making progress, and you can too. You just listen intently. We're also probably going to have some of Jeff's extraordinarily great teaching buddies on with us a little bit later, and we're still going to talk about some fun things that's going on in the world of golf. The British Open, the Open has been canceled. Gone. It's over for this year. However, we reschedule our stuff. Ain't nothing going to get in the way of our golf. We're going to talk more about it when we come right back. Hang with us. We are those weekend golf guys. You know, now more than ever, it's very critical to take care of yourself and to avoid unnecessary trips to the doctor, the chiropractor, and the masseuse. Social distancing is having an effect on everything these days. And nothing's more important right now than keeping your body healthy and pain-free. So if you're sitting at home suffering from aches and pains from arthritis, backaches, muscle soreness, maybe joint pain, and you want to try a drug-free solution, then you owe it to yourself to try the product that you're probably hearing about across so many podcasts. It's called CryoFreeze CBD Pain Relief Roll-On. It's an all-natural topical pain reliever that instantly ices out the pain with a 1-2 punch of super cold menthol and hemp CBD. Simply roll CryoFreeze onto your back, your neck, your hands, any other of the painful areas, and it will help block the pain, reduce the inflammation, and improve muscle and joint flexibility. CryoFreeze contains 10 powerful ingredients that combine to provide a powerhouse dose of relief, which can last up to 8 hours, much longer than any other roll-on. So try CryoFreeze today and learn why so many people have rated it 5 stars and have written so many letters thanking Omax for the life-changing relief that they're getting from this product. And Omax is offering our listeners 20% off a 1-month supply of Omax CryoFreeze, plus free shipping. Now, this discount also applies toward any product site-wide. So just go to omaxhealth.com and enter the code WEEKEND. omaxhealth.com and enter the code WEEKEND to get 20% off Omax CryoFreeze site-wide. Okay? 20% off a 1-month supply of Omax CryoFreeze. And they'll even give you free shipping. The site is omaxhealth.com. So go there today, omaxhealth.com, and enter the code WEEKEND. That's the important part. omaxhealth.com. Enter the code WEEKEND, get 20% off Omax CryoFreeze and anything else site-wide. Of course, we have a Facebook page, facebook.com/golfguys. We would love it if you were to go there and like us. We'd love it even more if you'd go there and follow us, facebook.com/golfguys. And thanks for hanging. We are here, those Weekend Golf Guys. I'm John Ashton. He is Jeff Smith. Facebook page, facebook.com/golfguys. You hear about it, but you don't go there. Why? Go there now. We can wait. Follow along. No, we're not there. We're not there right now doing the video background. We're going to get back to doing that again when
John looks better.
When
I'm not looking good enough today to get it on the air.
When the maid has cleaned up the studio a little bit. Yeah. See if I can get her to come in and extra special. Okay, an 82. An 82, which would have been totally impossible prior to meeting, talking with, and learning from Jeff Smith. Because I had some bad habits. Boy, did I have bad habits. I didn't realize they were bad habits, but I did.
Yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm.
I recall, one of our first rounds of golf, and I was, I didn't shake my head,
while I was looking
violently while you were near me.
Yes. Right. Yes, indeed.
Paying attention, but I was just
taking mental notes. Okay, there's one thing we need to fix. Oh, there's another thing we need to fix.
Yeah, your approach to the game was a little bit lacking in some quality things, and now I know it's better because we've talked about it off air. But
it is, and primarily what it is understanding what to do right, with the addition of understanding what you have done wrong if the shot doesn't go quite as you had planned. And I think that's an important part. When you tell me not only how to do it right, but you tell me what it was I was doing wrong that made it do that. Like when we played the first time and all of my iron shots had a power draw. I mean, these things were ending 20, 25 yards left.
It was a hook.
It was a hook. It was a bad hook.
Okay.
All right.
It was a hook. Yeah. Okay.
And it was very frustrating because I had no idea what I was doing to make it a hook, but you explained it to me in great detail.
Only when you asked.
Exactly.
I was going to leave you be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I was afraid if I asked, you were going to charge me. That's why I waited so long. It's like asking a taxi driver for a ride. You ask a taxi driver for a ride, the meter's going to start. So when you ask a golf teacher for advice, you figure, oh, ka-ching, here we go,
But that you bring up a very good point.
Okay.
Even as I go to different clubs, I'm in walking around the building at the Sagamore, I'm walking around the building at Timbergate.
Right.
I have people and they want to ask me stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know they do because we're talking about it. And then you see themselves holding themselves back. I'm like, well, does this count as a golf lesson?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, what do you
I
mean?
can see that. Yeah.
Oh, so they want to know and they're willing to not know, or they're willing to go search out on their own for, years upon years upon years, as opposed to just saying, yeah, let's take a golf lesson and explain this stuff to me and show me why.
Mm-hmm. Well, again,
you're a perfect example of one of the reasons that people just, they don't want a golf lesson.
Yeah. Well,
they don't want to pay for it.
Well, one thing is they don't want to pay for it. The other thing, Jeff, I'm going to tell you flat out, man, is they don't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, man. When you try to, I've got a friend who's a very good golfer, and he does the same thing we do, except he does it for the PGA Tour. And he was at one of the PGA Tour events, and he was out on the practice tee just doing some interviews and talking to some people, and he's gotten to be kind of friendly with some of the guys on tour. And Zach Johnson came up to him, and Zach's playing PXG clubs, right?
Yeah.
And
good sticks.
Yeah. And Frank asked him about it. And Zach just said, oh man, you won't believe it. Here, swing this 7-iron. And man, Frank was afraid to swing a 7-iron in front of Zach Johnson because the same thing. He was just afraid he'd make a total fool of himself and embarrass himself by swinging incorrectly or poorly or whatever. And that's the same reason why a lot of people, and Frank's not a bad golfer, but that's the same reason why a lot of people don't want to take a lesson is because they feel they're so bad that all they would do is embarrass themselves in front of you. That's something that I hope we can change for people's attitudes, because it is probably one of the most detrimental attitudes to getting better at golf, but it's one attitude that is shared by, I would say, a great majority of amateur golfers.
I think that that's really true. And I'm glad you brought that up. It perspectives like that help me as a teacher, help other people, because it's the one thing that I've learned about life, so to speak, is that people don't want to be uncomfortable.
No, they don't.
So one of the basic things that I do right away is befriend people.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, we're just talking.
Yeah.
And it's a comfortable environment.
And it's a lot easier. Yeah.
It is, because the barrier is broken down. That apprehension, that fear of embarrassment, as you just self-described it there.
Right.
In Frank's case, though, I think it's pretty legitimate. But nonetheless, I think
I don't think anybody that is not a professional golfer would feel comfortable taking a swing in front of a professional golfer, especially one that's as good as Zach Johnson. Okay, I just don't think would happen.
A major winner, two-time major winner, I think. Was it one or I know it's two? Certainly Masters and British Open. Is there more?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised. But what I know is PXGs ain't cheap, and he didn't buy them. Okay, so
yeah, true, true. That's a good point there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You go far too. Those irons send the ball far.
Yeah, especially if you swing like Zach Johnson does. And that's one thing too, is,
he's got a pretty good one.
Sometimes the best compliment you can get out of those guys is, "Oh, that's not a bad swing."
Right. You're like, okay,
thanks.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Because I did that once. It wasn't in front of a golf pro. It was, or a pro golfer. It was in front of just an equipment rep. But still, he's a PGA member, and, he knows his stuff. And he wanted me to swing one of his new clubs, and I did. And he went, "Oh, that's a pretty nice swing." And I was like, "Hey, thanks."
I thought you were going to say, especially if you do it in front of, like Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles.
That's an old joke. I'm doing a stream of consciousness thing that just hit my head. I'm not going to tell you the old joke because it's not a nice joke, but it does bring up the name of Tiger Woods. And have you heard that trying to get some sort of live golf activity on television, that Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson are thinking of doing another head-to-head match, but they're going to add a partner?
Yeah. How funny is this?
Peyton and Manning, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Talk about your rivals, man. That would be great TV.
I think it's a great idea.
It is.
I know that Peyton Manning and Tiger Woods are friends.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that they will be yucking it up, having a great time.
Oh, yeah. And they've played golf together.
Yeah.
We talked a couple of weeks ago about them breaking into Jim Nance's house to play in the golf holes. He has the Augusta replica in his backyard. So, yeah, that's fun. But again, we are going to discuss in great length exactly what changes I made. And they're very simple changes. I've got to say, very simple changes. If I can remember them all, they've got to be simple because I have a meager brain. And I can't keep a whole lot of thoughts in my head. They tend to leak out. And if I can do an 82 because of paying attention to Jeff, then you can do the math. Because before I met Jeff, it was very hard to break 90. Okay, 95. But we got better, okay? So,
yeah, you got better.
And we are going to discuss exactly how, and Jeff's going to tell you what it was he told me in case I don't remember exactly what it was he told me when we come right back. Hang with us. We are those Weekend Golf Guys. I want to tell you about the coolest gift you can give your mom for Mother's Day. or any other loved one, grandma, whoever. It is called a skylight frame. It is a touch screen photo frame. It comes with an exclusive email address, so everybody you know can send pictures to that email address, and in seconds, those pictures will show up on the frame. It's a 10-inch, beautiful touch screen, black frame, so it fits right into wherever you have it in the house, fits the decor. And I got to tell you, man, pictures, immediate. My wife sits now and just stares at the picture frame. She says it's even more fun than watching TV. But right now, as a special holiday offer, we can get you $10 off your purchase of a skylight frame when you go to skylightframe.com/golf and then enter the code GOLF. That's right. You get $10 off your purchase of a skylight frame. Just go to skylightframe.com/golf and enter the code GOLF. That's SKYLIGHTFRAME.com/golf. You know, now more than ever, it's very critical to take care of yourself and to avoid unnecessary trips to the doctor, the chiropractor, and the masseuse. Social distancing is having an effect on everything these days. And nothing's more important right now than keeping your body healthy and pain-free. So if you're sitting at home suffering from aches and pains, from arthritis, backaches, muscle soreness, maybe joint pain, and you want to try a drug-free solution, then you owe it to yourself to try the product that you're probably hearing about across so many podcasts. It's called CryoFreeze CBD Pain Relief Roll-On. It's an all-natural topical pain reliever that instantly ices out the pain with a 1-2 punch of super cold menthol and hemp CBD. Simply roll CryoFreeze onto your back, your neck, your hands, any other of the painful areas, and it will help block the pain, reduce the inflammation, and improve muscle and joint flexibility. CryoFreeze contains 10 powerful ingredients that combine to provide a powerhouse dose of relief, which can last up to 8 hours, much longer than any other roll-on. So try CryoFreeze today and learn why so many people have rated it 5 stars and have written so many letters thanking Omax for the life-changing relief that they're getting from this product. And Omax is offering our listeners 20% off a 1-month supply of Omax CryoFreeze, plus free shipping. Now, this discount also applies toward any product site-wide. So just go to omaxhealth.com and enter the code WEEKEND. omaxhealth.com and enter the code WEEKEND to get 20% off Omax CryoFreeze site-wide. Okay? 20% off a 1-month supply of Omax CryoFreeze. And they'll even give you free shipping. The site is omaxhealth.com. So go there today, omaxhealth.com, and enter the code WEEKEND. That's the important part. omaxhealth.com. Enter the code WEEKEND, get 20% off Omax CryoFreeze and anything else site-wide. And we're back, those Weekend Golf guys. John Ashton here in the radio studio. Jeff Smith at the Plain and Simple Golf School, Timbergate Golf Course in Edinburgh, Indiana, in the golf studio. And we are those Weekend Golf guys collectively. And some guests will be jumping on with us here in a little bit. But what we are discussing is how and why I was actually able to shoot an 82 with one of the early rounds this year that I played just a couple of weeks ago. Was it a lot of practice? Not really. I don't have time for a lot of practice. I don't have a facility I can go to and just swing a club. I mean, I've got a backyard, but that's about it. But I do have neighbors that look at me funny when I do that, and that's kind of embarrassing. But I do take to heart a lot of the things Jeff says. I had a problem. As we said, my power draw was out of control. I was hooking the ball every time I struck it with an iron. I have found the secret, Jeff. The reason why I was able to shoot an 82 was because I think 11 out of 18 times my second shot or my third shot, whatever, I was on 11 greens in regulation. I was not missing it pin high to the left and having to chip up. I was not missing it a few yards short and having to chip up, or a few yards over and having to chip up.
Isn't that nice?
It is nice, because no matter where you are on a green, for the most part, if, again, you listen to Jeff and you listen to techniques on green reading and things like that, 2 putts is not an outrageous thing. I did a couple of 3 putts, but 2 was primarily what it is. And, of course, I will admit that it's easier now because the cups are raised. You don't have to actually put it in the hole. You just have to hit the cup, which does make it a little easier, because then the speed does not have to be as accurate. You can power the ball through the break as long as it hits the cup. It can bounce off. Let's
be realistic about that.
Right.
You still better do something that your ball stops at the hole.
Yeah, I still was.
Rammings.
Even though the folks I was playing with said, John, because I missed one birdie by 2 inches. Literally, the ball stopped 2 inches short of hitting the cup.
Well, that's good.
And they said, come on, John, don't worry about getting the speed right. Just power through. And I'm like, no, because someday this will be over. And I still want to know how to get these in the hole, and you guys aren't going to be used to it anymore. So there.
I will say this, when we first got together a long time ago, you were not even counting many of the things that normal golfers count.
Like strokes?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what to do in certain situations. And that's one of the things that you had said, hey, look, it's harder to, when we first met, you were having a hard time breaking 95.
Yeah.
And that's if, in fact, you were not counting.
Right.
Then if you actually were counting, there were
103.
Seemingly more of them.
Yeah, I know.
To count.
I know. Exactly. Yeah.
Go turn that back to today now. And you're counting them all now.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not having to take a whole bunch of those other strokes that would count against your score, making it rise, because you're actually able to play with just darn near the same golf ball the whole time now.
Yeah.
And that's a new thing.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And then, so that means that you're willing to buy some better golf balls too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I am. I'm using the top of the line, man.
So now you're seeing things that you never saw before, like a ball that could stop when you hit a short shot.
Mm-hmm.
And
see, now I'm playing
better.
I'm playing with
feel it. Too.
Yes, I'm playing with the same people I've played with for eons. Okay, my brother-in-law and I, we played when we both lived in Louisville. We played when we both lived in Atlanta. Now we play when we both live here back in Louisville again. Okay, we have played together for probably 20 years. He has seen the dregs of my game, and one of the things he's saying in the 3 rounds we've played together this year is, where did you learn how to chip? That's, a very effective tool, but you still don't need to use it very much if you can actually hit the green in regulation.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun.
It is a lot more fun. And I got to tell you, man, I hit the green in regulation with almost every club in my bag. That's the thing. On a long par 4, I had to hit a 5-iron into the green. 5 irons with people are usually hit and miss, right?
Yeah.
But I set up the way you taught me to set up. I made sure the club head was set up correctly to be square at impact the way you taught me the way I needed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I swung the way you taught me I need to swing. The ball was exactly between my feet where you taught me it needed to be. The ball straight, high, on the green. And I did it with a 6-iron. I did it with a 7-iron. I did it with a 9-iron. I did it with a pitching wedge. I did it with a 3 hybrid. On a par 5, I was on in 2.
Ooh, look at you.
And that 3 hybrid shot was a 91.
Please tell me that you were on in 2 and 2-putted.
I did. Yes. Yes.
How about that?
You finish number 18 with a birdie, you come back.
There you go.
But it was a 191-yard shot with a 3 hybrid.
How about that?
No wind involved. Again, high, straight, where I was aiming. And again, my brother-in-law is like, who are you?
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun.
That's a lot of fun, right?
And people were watching.
Ooh,
yeah.
John's playing golf in front of people now.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
That's a big change. I remember, so you're willing to play golf in front of people now. You used to not get in front of people. You used to, I'm going to stick to my own, I'm going to stick to my own group.
Oh yeah.
And God help me if I get on the tee with somebody I don't know.
Not playing with strangers, not playing in front of strangers. We even got to a point where, the one thing about golf in this neighborhood now, I hope you're able to play golf. I know that 74% of the golf courses in the country are still open, but because nobody's working, people who play golf are basically doing nothing but playing golf. So it's hard to get a tee time.
Yeah.
Because the tee times are being stretched out a little bit. It takes a little bit longer. Everybody's got their own carts. Everybody, maybe you're walking or whatever, but still, there was a foursome in front of us. We were just a twosome. And for 8 holes, it was fine. But on the 8th hole, they waited for us and said, you guys go ahead. You know what that would have done to me prior to us?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You would not have come up to that tee box.
No, I would have said, no, you just hit. I'll throw one out there somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but now, how about that? Willing to play in front of other people.
Yeah.
Shooting better scores.
Yeah.
How about this, folks? This is a guy who clearly, he's a radio guy. He does not have a problem talking to people.
Not at all.
Playing golf in front of people was a whole big deal for you, wasn't it?
Especially people who played better than me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which didn't eliminate many people.
I'm glad I didn't have to say that. Usually that's my line, but I'll let you have that one.
I appreciate it, man.
I think we've got him in. I think we've got a friend of the show, a good friend of mine, E.A.Tischler. E.A., are you online with us now?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
That's great. We sure can.
Loud and clear, sir.
Thanks for joining in. E.A., this is John Ashton on the other line. John is an avid golfer, and we're just extolling the virtues of his great round of golf just the other day. Came in with a nice little 82, and that's a really good improvement for John.
And I counted everything.
That's
everything.
the best part.
Yeah,
he counted them all.
That's really, really respectable. Now, there was a rumor around that John was a hacker. And I'm sorry.
That's right.
The 82 is not a hacker.
No.
There could be hackers and hackers, but he's definitely not a hacker.
And that is 100% attributable to this Jeff Smith guy, because he knows whereof he speaks, man.
I think that EA's got that right. At some point, I'm sure that he's going to get that hairball stuck out of his throat to get that right. But I'm pretty sure that he's got that right. That's who you used to be.
Oh yeah, it is definitely who I used to be.
A lot of fun now. How about EA? I don't know if you heard when you were trying to jive in there. John just finished with a birdie as well on a par 5. He went driver 3 hybrid, 2 putts. And
wow.
It was a nice little round of golf for an over 60 dude who just coming off a heart attack. Not many months ago.
2 years almost. Well, year and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. But
does that count as was that the first birdie of the year, or is that
no? Actually, it was the second birdie of the year. The first birdie of the year was on the front nine.
Well, there you go. You always gotta have a victory lap when you make your first birdie of the year.
That's right, man. And it feels so good, especially when you're playing with other people who aren't putting for birdie.
Yeah, the only bad thing is there probably weren't any high fives for this one, were there?
No, a couple of good elbows maybe, but that's about as close as we got, man. Close as we got. But that's okay. I can adapt. And high fives and no beers bought. This is the time, guys. If you're going to ever get your first ace or an ace at all, this is the time to do it. When the clubhouses are closed, so you don't have to buy drinks for everybody.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. Where we had this little discussion last week that John was trying to pull the wool over our listeners' eyes, suggesting that if you manage to hit one of those cups that are sticking up out of the ground, and you could count that as your ace. And I just scoffed, shot that down. There's just no chance.
I guess if you somehow had video of it coming in slow motion and hitting the exact middle of that cup at exactly the right pace, and you could document all that, you may have an argument. But I think it's going to be really, really hard to present any of that evidence.
I think that, that would fall under the heading of, you'd be telling that story to somebody and they'd look over and they'd look at you and go, I believe you, John.
Yeah.
But 1,000 others wouldn't.
Yeah, right. That's the reaction I get a lot when I say that. Yeah. Right. Okay.
I do have a few hole-in-one stories in relations to not having to buy. I made a hole-in-one at a tournament, and my buddy insisted that everybody else buy me drinks and dinner. So that was pretty amazing.
That's the way it should be.
And everybody went along with it, by the way.
Yes.
Wow. How did you manage to do that? Because you really don't drink.
Hey, a man can learn, Hey, I just want to tell you folks, we've got 2 of the best golf instructors in the world on the line with us, and they're going to come right back after this break, and you do too. Don't you move. And we are those weekend golf guys. I'm John Ashton. He is Jeff Smith. E.A.Tischler, Olympia Fields. Is Chicago open, EA?
Completely locked down.
Yeah.
I can't even go into my office to pick up stuff.
You know, I was hoping that you could maybe run over to Club Champion for me. They're building
right
a brand.
Down the road.
Yeah, they're building a brand new driver for me, man. I got all fitted and everything, and then this happened. So I'm just sitting here. See, I shot an 82 even without the brand new driver. The Callaway Maverick fitted to me completely.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine what happens when we get back to regular golf.
I know. I'm talking 60s, man.
Yeah, we're going to let you play 14 holes and we'll be all set.
Yeah, or I'll play whatever the temperature is. I don't
That's
care.
right.
You know.
Yeah, when we were at UCSD, we used to play in the Skins game at Torrey Pines. And there was this guy that always went out ahead of everybody. And he'd be in the restaurant when we got back in. And we'd ask him, what'd you shoot today? Oh, 74. You know, next week. Oh, 76. It was always between 74 and 78. We've seen this guy swing. We're like, there is absolutely no way. So we scheduled to go early one day. He comes off the 13th green. He goes to the 14th tee, tees off on 14. And we see him walking down there. He picked up his ball and he walked into the clubhouse. So from then on, we just asked him, how far did you get?
That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
Because that's what it is. Somebody just decided, okay, I've had enough strokes for the day. I'm in.
I've
got my allotment.
That's right. I got my 4 for this hole. Let's move on.
It's like playing one of those flag tournaments, you know, where you just go stick your flag in the ground as far as you get with the number of strokes that you're allotted, and you go, let's see how far we can go. That's what those things are. Clubs do those all the time.
Yeah. But man, you know, you and I have been together, Jeff, really not that many times as far as lessons go. I mean, no. I have listened to you. You can talk somebody into doing it better right here on the radio. And I don't take copious notes. I just go back and I listen because, you know, I've got the recording. But if you're listening, and you really should write down some of the stuff Jeff says, because it's golden, the stuff that comes out of his mouth. It's very easy because I think we maybe just a little over an hour all told as far as specific, do this for me and let me see how it works, and then I'll tell you how to change it. We haven't done it more than maybe 75, 80 minutes aggregate total.
Yeah, probably not.
But the whole thing is hitting the ball straight. Not even hitting the ball straight, hitting the ball where you want it to go. Put it that way, okay?
And solidly. And
when you do that, you feel marvelous. That sound and that majestical look of the ball, you go, I did that.
You're talking about doing this without putting it from tee to green, right?
Right.
Okay, just check it.
You know, and when it lands on the green like it's supposed to, or where you had planned it to be, it's even better. Why don't you, Jeff, real quickly, just tell them what you told me that allowed me to do that?
Well, outside of the take-up bowling thing.
Yeah, which we poo-pooed and we moved on. Go on. Yeah.
Well, first there was the alignment issue where, you know, certainly you were not pointed on the same golf hole that you were facing.
And oftentimes didn't land on the same golf hole I was playing.
No,
because
it really was. That was one of the issues that I saw right away. And the second one was really that.
Wait a second. I got to throw something out here.
Yeah.
You got to be more in the present, John. Whatever hole you're playing, you are playing, even if you're on a different hole. Okay?
That's right.
In the present, buddy.
He was playing holes that his playing companions were not on a routine basis. Yeah. And, you know, right now it would be easy, you know, because it used to be considered when people had their own golf carts, it used to be considered to be antisocial. And now it's just okay.
Yeah.
But John was antisocial for a long time.
I was.
He had to take the cart over there. No, but the other thing, John, was that I knew right away was that there were things that were going on in your body that did not match up with how you were trying to move yourself and how you're built to move. And those two things were wildly different. And all I did was kind of put some parts of you in line with what they did best. And then all of a sudden, the ball flight got better and the contact was certainly better. The feel was better and the distance was better. And the confidence kind of all came together all at the same time, didn't it?
It did.
So are you telling us that he was a tow truck and he was trying to run the race like a Ferrari, and you got him back to just being a tow truck.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know if those are the exact automobiles you would use.
But so anyway, so we're working with Mater, and getting him. He was trying to be Lightning McQueen. Things were not quite it.
Disney just called. They want their money. Okay, go on.
But no, realistically, John, you were trying to do some things that you had in your head that, because Rory did them or DJ did them, and that you should be able to do them. And clearly it was not working out so well.
Indeed.
Come on. That's Jeff. That's what he sees when he looks in the mirror.
Yeah. The best part is that he can imagine any of these major champion winners to be himself. All he does is he just takes that big mustache of his and superimposes it upon them and go, yeah, that's me.
That's
I can
me.
do that. I get to do that.
EA, for a guy who never met me, you sure do know me well. How do you do that, man?
I listen.
Oh, bummer.
He likes our show. But no, the things that John and I have had a chance to work on, EA, have been really interesting because a lot of them were concept bursting things for him. His mind was saying, these are the things that I think I'm supposed to be doing, because they just seemed like that's what golfers do.
Mm-hmm.
It turned out that probably more than 75% of them were just in direct conflict with each other. And he didn't quite see that either. And so, I got to do
that in the game.
I think there is too. And I believe, and John and I have talked about this before, EA, you've heard me say this before, is that I think that a large portion of my job as a golf coach, as an instructor, is I think I'm a plumber. It was one of the first things I think I am, is I have to flush away an awful lot of poo in people's heads to make sure that they don't have this nonsense running around in there trying to do something that they're not built to do, and it doesn't match up with that, with what they're good at doing.
I was just asked a question on social media today about how I teach grips to beginner, and this was from another golf professional. And I'm sure the answer that I gave him was not what he was anticipating at all, because I think most people prescribe a grip. But if you don't know things about the golfer or the person in front of you, what are their skill sets, what other sports they played, what other tools have they used, what are their hobbies, how does their body work? Do they grip it more diagonally or horizontally? If you don't know a bunch of things, you can actually get them off to a really bad start, and that can get the club face in a really bad position. Even though you may say that grip looks really good, it becomes very dysfunctional. So it's really interesting how a lot of the basic concepts in the game that are conventional can get people off track right off the bat.
Exactly, and that was one of my drawbacks is my grip was wrong to begin with.
Yeah. It certainly wasn't going to work for you.
No.
It may work for somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it in the back of Golf Digest, I think, one day,
As John, as you've learned, and as EA's been doing this for a long time, and I've been doing this for a long time, it's everybody is their own individual player.
Right.
And we look at structural features, and we look at how they move, and EA just brought up a good point. What's their athletic background? Mm-hmm. What have they trained themselves to do? Have they trained themselves to do anything? For example, were they a baseball player, and how many years? And did they get used to the whole movement pattern when they held a bat in the way that they held their bat?
Mm-hmm.
I've got a few students that are, they're cricket players. They grew up playing cricket and have these really, you can see it immediately. One of them, I looked at him the very first time. I said, "You played cricket, didn't you?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "People have tried to get you to change that grip, haven't they?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "There's no way you're ever going to change that grip, and I'm not going to ask you to." And he's like, "Oh my God, thank you."
Oh yeah. It's interesting when we find things out. Cricket is an interesting sport because they're taking this paddle and smacking this ball that's coming at them, but they're going to control where it goes. It's interesting. They can even hit it backwards and still be okay in that game. I'm befuddled by watching that game.
Well, my
learn what all you can do with that.
Yeah, when you lost me when you say cricket was interesting because cricket's boring as hell. But my oft mentioned brother-in-law was a softball player for a very long time, and his main frustration is he just sits there and he'll tell you. He said, "I can hit a softball coming at me at 40 miles an hour, and I can hit it to anywhere in the field I want to." He said, I've got this little ball that's stationary, and I swing, and I have no idea where it's going to go.
Well, the big difference between baseball, softball, and golf is that golf's a racket sport, and it has a face involved, and baseball doesn't.
That's true. Yeah. Never thought of it that way.
Yeah, and the other part, too, is that, we have to play our foul balls. And, they got that whole 90-degree playing field to go.
Yeah, they got that do-over thing going,
Yeah. We basically got to hit it right over the pitcher's head.
I can actually give the example of, so like in any ballpark in the United States, if you put me at home plate and give me a 4-iron, the ball will still be going up as it leaves the stadium. And if you give me a wedge and say, you're going to tell me, I want you to put it in row 10, seat 20, in section 213 or whatever in center field. And you want me to put it in that seat. Yeah, in the cup holder for hole in one. That kind of puts it in perspective, the difference between golf and baseball.
It certainly does. Almost frightening the way you put that. Because, I mean, it is that.
Who in their crazy mind would play this game?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not in a baseball stadium, that's for dang sure.
And here I am giving you grief, John, that you want to call a hole-in-one when you don't even get it in the hole. You still want to call it a hole-in-one. I'm giving you a hard time about that right after EA's put that into perspective of how difficult that really is.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I'm still going to claim it if it happens. I don't care who you are. You can argue with me all you want. I don't care.
Asterisk.
What if the ball actually bounces, slides up the pole, goes down, and it's actually sitting inside the cup, but it's not below the turf line?
I would call for a ruling.
We have a rules problem now.
I'm not calling you for a ruling. That's for sure.
You know what I would do? I'd go grab that flag stick and shove that cup down in really quick.
Yeah. As fast as I could get
quick before anyone notices.
And say, who left this cup in the hole?
Oh, by the way, here's my ball.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
A way to actually tell, because golf clubs are funky, and unless you really study it hard, it's hard to tell what position the club is in as you address the ball unless you know how to discern that correctly. And the way you taught me to discern it, I know sometimes it looks like, an elementary thing, but it works. Just seeing if the grooves are straight up and down or not.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a nice thing to think about? If that's all you'd have to do to be aware of where your club face is?
Yeah.
Is, pay attention to it.
Yeah, and as long as your ball is in the right place, and if you do it the way Jeff says it, and there's a video that he can show you online that will show you what I'm talking about. But if you check it out, just hold the club in front of you, straight out, in the middle of your body, arm's length. Check that the grooves are up and down. And when you put that club back down on the ground, then put the ball just in front of that club, and you will have the right setup. Trust me, it works. It is a good way to tell where the ball should be because it works for me. And if Jess says it, I'm going to do it. So there you go.
I don't even have to pay you to say that anymore.
No, you don't.
That's great. In that case, you start paying me back.
Yeah, we pay in free golf, and you already have free golf, man, so I got nothing. I got nothing for you, bud. That's, well,
that's the radio business for you folks in a nutshell right there. We make no money and we get free golf.
That's right.
There.
But you have a lot of laughs in your life. So
that we do.
Yes, we do. A lot of fun, man.
We do.
A lot of fun. Hey, we got some time yet together. We're coming right back. You do too, okay? Don't you move. You want to see how great a golf instructor Jeff Smith really is? It's very easy. $5golfclub.com. The number $5golfclub.com. I want to tell you about the coolest gift you can give your mom for Mother's Day or any other loved one, grandma, whoever. It is called a skylight frame. It is a touch screen photo frame. It comes with an exclusive email address, so everybody you know can send pictures to that email address, and in seconds, those pictures will show up on the frame. It's a 10-inch, beautiful touch screen, black frame, so it fits right into wherever you have it in the house, fits the decor. And I got to tell you, man, pictures, immediate. My wife sits now and just stares at the picture frame. She says it's even more fun than watching TV. But right now, as a special holiday offer, we can get you $10 off your purchase of a skylight frame when you go to skylightframe.com/golf and then enter the code GOLF. That's right. You get $10 off your purchase of a skylight frame. Just go to skylightframe.com/golf and enter the code GOLF. That's SKYLIGHTFRAME.com/golf. And EA, man, you've got some more stories. Every time we have you on, man, you just regale us. So we're going to give you the floor for a couple of minutes. I know you haven't rehearsed anything, but...
Well, first thing I want to say is I learned in college that I could acquire a lot of useless information that was only useful in random conversations.
Okay.
So that's what college was good for. Like things like, what the outermost layer of the sun's atmosphere is? Why would you ever want to know this?
I wouldn't.
Well, it's the corona, of course.
Of course.
Pretty pertinent to this,
Yes, we know now.
Lockdown stage, right?
Yeah.
But beyond that, at least I think Indiana now has opened some golf courses. You can't get to a driving range anywhere as far as I know, but I think we can actually get out and play. And so since the weather's got some good days and bad days coming, we actually may get out on the golf course. So hopefully we won't have to go south.
Just saying, in case you're interested, I got a tee time at Shelbyville Country Club tomorrow if you want to come, 11 o'clock.
Where is
that? Shelbyville, Kentucky.
Shelbyville, Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky. Yeah, now I have students that have had to cancel lessons last weekend and this weekend, and they live south, close to you guys, and they're telling me they're going to Kentucky all the time.
Yeah.
Them guys are lucky.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. We've got, and it's hard to get wedged in. Nobody's working. Everybody who plays golf is playing golf. Golfers basically invented this social distancing thing. We don't like to hang out with people.
Do you have a case of moonshine in your trunk when you go down there to help pay for your rounds of golf? Or how does that work?
No moonshine, EA, and I wear shoes, too. I hate to break it to you. I know the stereotype is going to be all messed up now.
No, the Kentucky people. That's what they say about the Tennessee people.
That's right.
Now EA's bringing it back up to Kentucky.
That's what they say. West Virginia exists so people in Kentucky will have someone to make fun of.
We're looking forward to get outside because we started in California. So California was the first place to lock down.
Yeah.
And then I went back, got Kaneko, and we came back to Indiana. And right when we got back to Indiana shut down. So we've been indoors doing our videos and putting social media instruction and everything out there. And we are ready to get outside.
Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. EA, thanks for hanging out with us, man. Obviously, always appreciate it. Jeff Smith, thank you. ThoseWeekendGolfGuys.com. You can find out how to get in touch with any of the aforementioned guys. Send us a message or whatever. ThoseWeekendGolfGuys.com. We're there, too. And all I can say is, hey, if you can, go out and play some golf. Our bonus content this week comes from back in April of 2017 when we talked to Rick Marcy. But he's from New England, so he'll say it Rick Marcy. And he's the developer and the inventor and the purveyor of the low point swing trainer that Jeff and I both swear by. And thanks for hanging. We are Those Weekend Golf Guys. John Ashton in studio here. Jeff Smith back at it, hobnobbing with the top 100 teachers in the country, teaching the teachers how to teach. What was that old tongue twister? If a Hottentot taught a Hottentot to talk, should the Hottentot be taught to say ought, or what ought to be taught her?
Oh, my God.
That's how I got the radio gig, man.
There you go.
Rick Marcy, down in Florida, enjoying the warmth and the rain, is capably filling in. And Rick Marcy has been with us before on the show. He is the developer and, of course, the designer and the purveyor of the Smart Ball Golf Low Point Swing Trainer, which is one golfer at a time, creating much better golfers. And I can count myself among that number. It's a great piece of gear, man.
I appreciate it, man.
I really like that. But you mentioned something earlier in the show about bad habits and how you're working with your machine can cure some bad habits. Intrepid producer Mark Hunter and I were playing golf last Sunday. And he made a comment that I have made before and I have heard other people make it. Early in the season, about the second or third time, and he was hitting the ball pretty well. And he said, I guess I haven't gotten my bad habits back. That tends to happen to us amateurs as we progress and play more often. Is it just that we get lazy, or is it that we've been doing it wrong for so long it just comes natural to us?
It's interesting, but maybe you were just lucky that day, Mark. Normally, it's the other way around. Is that most of the time, in my experience, is that in the spring and in the fall, when people are, and a lot of it has to do with where you're from, ground conditions, but a lot of times that low point being so early in the summertime, first of all, you're playing a lot, so you're getting back into habits. The more you play, you get a little bit, back into it, I think.
Yeah.
But I tend to hit the ball. I'm kind of a 3 yellow lighter guy, on my machine, generally speaking. I have to really push myself to get into the all greens all the time. But I find that in the spring and in the fall, when the ground's kind of soft and muddy and wet, that I hit way more fat shots than I do in the summer when everything's nice and dry and firm.
Yeah.
And to me, that's sort of the proof of the low point being too early, too soon. You can get away with it a lot of times because of that. But normally, kind of as you're going, and it could just be that you're not crazed on the ball. The ball result is, in my opinion, probably the biggest deterrent or hindrance. We're just so, result-oriented humans that you're looking to see my ball, was it? And you're looking for the result, and I'm looking pointing at the ground going, dude, look down here. Look where you hit the ground way before the ball. Or that's, to me, focusing on landing the club on the ground around where you started right before the ball, or to the left of that. You don't want to be landing the club on the ground prior to where it was at address. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
That's where 99% of people are doing that. They kind of know that the club's that early, that soon, so then they start to lift up and try to take it, upward diagonally with the ball. That's one of the questions I would ask a lot of my students is, in your plan in your head, 2 big things. A is the impact position, when you strike the ball, and the address position, the start position. Should those be the same position or totally different? Most people out there think that the goal is to be exactly the same at impact as you were at address. And I'm talking your whole body. And that couldn't be further from the truth than that. And then secondly, that the club head follows the ball along the intended flight angle of the ball for the first, 2 to 10 inches of flight. Is that part of your plan that's correct? Yeah, that's correct. Whoa, how could you take a divot? Pros take divots on TV all the time. Yeah. How do they take a divot if the club head followed the flight of the ball? You know what I mean? That's just not good. That's tennis.
Yeah.
And I think because we've, volleyball serves and tennis serves and stuff like that, you learn to hit upward diagonally to create flight, and there's the real problem with golf is you start golf already thinking the wrong plan is the right way. And unfortunately, a lot of people in the beginning, pros included, will let you do that. They'll tee your ball up 2 inches with a 7-iron so you can hit it up on it and have it fly and be successful today. Mm-hmm. I'm not that guy. Your ball's on the ground right from the get-go. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not going to reward your bad swing because what happens is the subconscious says, hey, that ball flew straight. It went pretty far, and I'm happy with it with the swing that I thought was good. So hey, the hell with you.
Well, that's I think
that's the battle.
Many amateurs, it goes through their head as long as they hit it relatively straight, far enough for their own purposes, and it didn't look ugly, then they're fine with that. It's good enough.
Yeah, I know. And they hit it. Yeah, they hit it 180. They hit it the distance of an 8-year-old who's good. It's true.
Well, when you put it that way, Rick.
Some of those kids at the Masters tournament driving at 250 yards, and the girl weighs 111 pounds.
Yeah.
She's, 5'2" and 13 years old. How does a grown man not drive it? Hits it 180 and thinks, "Man, I'm good."
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like that, I can hit it with one hand, 180, dude. But you keep going with that if you want to buy another. And that's another thing. People would rather spend money on a couple of bargain basement priced, like last year's, driver that was $400 for $200, they'll buy those all day instead of a unit that actually would fix your swing. That's kind of the saddening part of some of these golf shows you go to. You know, some of the discount golf clubs. Those were the biggest hits. Was people buying. You know, guys standing there at my booth saying, "Well, you know, $500 for a swing trainer," and he's holding 3 clubs in his hand that cost more than $500.
Right.
And and this is driver number 17, 3-wood number 9, and, you know, putter number 42. And that's my way of fixing my golf swing. And it's like, dude, and they're looking at my device going, wow, that's really cool. But, dang, $500. And he's got $500 in his hand in another way, but won't buy the trainer, you know, and you're just going, what is wrong with
that was another topic I wanted to broach with you. As a golf teacher, I know just enough, having been around Jeff for so long and guys like you, Rick, that when I see these ads on the Golf Channel, you know, like I saw one this weekend, having trouble getting out of sand traps?
That huge wide.
Here, buy this new wedge and get out first time every time. Well, or go take a lesson. Right?
Yep.
I mean, you know, I went to Jeff and said, I can't get out of sand traps. And he sat me down for about, 3.5 minutes. Now everybody in my group, when they're in a sand trap, they, hey, John, you want to come over and take this shot for me, please?
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, you know, that's unfortunately the marketing world. That's another little hindrance to us, is to beat your way through that $10 billion pre-existing market of a new club is the answer. I mean, that's their world.
Yeah,
you know?
and
I always tell people, if I come up dead and missing, look for the big club companies. Somebody connected to a big club. And, you know, honestly, I always try to say to save my life with that is, look, we can help you, you know, sell more clubs by getting people to hit down on the ball with your club instead of whatever they're using.
Right.
And, you know, had you, went to Jeff and used a whatever instead of whatever you're using, you might have thought it had to do with that club. So it's not like it's not hurting club sales either, you know, but you also don't need 17 different sets of clubs. And it's kind of like car sales. Every year you got a new color, a new model, a new name. And that's kind of how golf is. It's just our world. It's marketing. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with getting a nice, pretty set of clubs. I got a nice car, too. But, you know, I know how to drive it. I don't start off in third gear. I don't have the handbrake pulled on before I'm, you know, that's kind of the story. That's all.
Well, and the other thing, is realistic golfers who know that it's not the equipment, it's the guy wielding the equipment. Once they start getting better, that's when they say, man, I need to get clubs that now are commensurate with my ability.
Exactly. Our device that's what I was trying to tell people. It's like, look, I actually wrote a thing to Fujiyama or whatever it is, the shaft company. I said, you know, if you guys would help promote our product, you'd help get better golfers, and better golfers are the ones who buy your $100 shafts or $200 shafts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Exactly. Those people buy bargain basement stuff and use it and then they never ever get good enough, so they never buy a good set of clubs. And we could, you know, obviously grow that whole world.
Yeah. Well, speaking of inexpensive clubs, we have a $5 golf club that can fix your game. Okay? Just go to the number 5, $5golfclub.com. Yeah. $5 a month. Jeff Smith and a lot of his buddies have just put some training videos all over that. In fact, I want to talk to you, Rick, about maybe getting a video we can put up there that shows how your Smart Ball Golf's low point swing trainer actually works, and get people. We can talk about that. But if you want to shoot a better score tomorrow, join $5golfclub.com today. That's the number 5golfclub.com. Hang out. We got more time together, and we're coming right back. Don't you move. We are those weekend golf guys.